Okay, this is your second review sheet. For number 1, the algebraic expression for the word phrase, the word sum means we add, and we add 3 plus x, and that's the answer. For number 2, the simplified form of the expression, remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, so I have parentheses first, and I can do them both at the same time. 7 parentheses 2 plus 6 is 8, divided by 9 minus 2 is 7. Well, now I have multiplication and division, and I do that in the order that it comes. So 7 times 8 is 56, divided by 7 is 8. For number 3, evaluate. U is 5, plus x is 2, and y is 6. We follow our order of operations, and so we multiply first, and we get 5 plus 12, and 5 plus 12 is 17. Number 4, what is the order from least to greatest? Change all of these to decimals. This as a decimal is 2.24. This one is already a decimal. Negative 5 over 3 as a decimal is about negative 1.67. And the square root of 3 as a decimal is about 1.73. And so when I put all of my decimals in order, my smallest one is negative 1.67. And then I get negative 0.1, then 0.3, 1.73, and 2.24. But I can't leave them all in decimal form because they weren't given to me in decimal form. So negative 1.67 is the same as negative 5 over 3. Negative 0.1 was a decimal. 0.3 was a decimal. 1.73 is the same as the square root of 3. And 2.24 is the same as the square root of 5. For number 5, all we do is add 1.85 plus 1.85 plus 1.05, and we end up getting $4.75. For number 6, we draw a line through. We need to move the 2.4 over by subtracting it from both sides. I'm left with 2.3x equals 11.5. When I divide by 2.3, I end up getting x to equal 5. Number 7, I undo the division by multiplying both sides by 4. That makes these 4's divide out. I'm left with b plus 9 equals 48. Now get the b by itself by subtracting 9. And I'm left with b equals 39. The next number 7, I need to get the x's in the same room or on the same side, so I'm going to move this 6x over by adding it. When I add it, I get 3x plus 8 equals 2. Subtract 8 from both sides. I'm left with 3x equals 2 minus 8 is negative 6. Divide by 3, and I get x equals negative 2. Number 8, to find out the average rate at which the parts are made per hour, I take my 1733 parts, and I divide by how many hours I have, and I end up getting 346.6 parts per hour, or about 347 parts per hour. Number 9, what is the solution to the proportion? Well, we're going to cross multiply, so I have to multiply 14 times everything diagonal from it, x minus 10, equals, and then I multiply 7 times 2 and get 14. Then I distribute 14x minus 140 equals 14. Get the x by itself by adding 140. I'm left with 14x equals 154. Divide by 14, and I get x to equal 11. Number 10, all real numbers greater than or equal to 71. So we don't know what that is. We define a variable, x is greater than or equal to 71. And that's all you have to do there. For number 11, what is the graph? We draw us a number line. We put 3 in the middle. We know we're going to have an open circle because there's no or equal to underneath it. And then we read it. N is less than 3, so we need to shade all the numbers that are less than 3, which are the numbers on the left. Number 12, you need to distribute before you do anything else, but you solve it like we're an equals, an equation. We get 15x minus 12 is greater than or equal to 15x minus 15. I subtract 15x to get them on the same side. And then what happens is my variables cancel on both sides, and I'm left with negative 12 is greater than or equal to negative 15. So my answer is either going to be no solution or all real numbers. Negative 12 is bigger than negative 15, so it's true, and your answer is going to be all real numbers because it's true. Number 13, what is the graph of the function rule? Well, it's already in y equals mx plus b form, where m is 3 and b is 2. Make your slope a fraction, 3 over 1, and we always start with b, your y-intercept, so we go up 2, and from there we go up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1, and we can continue the pattern in the other direction. And then, of course, draw and extend your line and put arrows at the end. Number 14, what is the slope of the line? We'll see where this line crosses two perfect corners and draw your L shape. And count how many blocks go down. This is 1. And how many blocks go across? This is 3. 1, 2, 3. And your slope is rise over run. Well, I know it's going to be negative because this is a negative direction. And so my rise is 1 and my run is 3. So your slope is negative 1 over 3. What is the slope for number 15? You use your slope formula. Label your points, x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. And then we just subtract our 2. Negative 3 minus 8 over 6 minus 5. That gives us negative 11 in the numerator and 1 in the denominator. When we simplify that fraction, we end up with negative 11. Number 16 says write an equation of the line with the given slope and y-intercept. Well, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So all we need to do is plug in m and plug in b, and we end up getting y equals negative 1x minus 4, or y equals negative x minus 4. They mean the same thing. Number 17, write an equation in slope-intercept form, so we have to use y equals of x plus b, and we need to know m and we need to know b. So we find m first by using our formula, 0 minus 7 over 8 minus 5. We get negative 7 over 3, which simplifies just to negative 7 over 3. So that's m. To find b, we pick either one of these points. I'm going to pick the one with the 0, and we plug in x and y. So y is 0 equals, my m is negative 7/3, parentheses, my x is 8, plus b. Use your calculator for this. 0 equals negative 56 over 3 plus b. Well, we have to get that 56 over 3 over, so we add 56 over 3, and we add 56 over 3, and we get b to equal 56 over 3. So now that I know m and b, I go back to this formula and I plug in m and b. Y equals negative 7 over 3x plus 56 over 3. And this is your answer. Number 18, write an equation in point-slope form. Well, this is x of 1 and this is y of 1 because it's your first point. Point-slope form is this. And I literally just plug in y minus negative 9 equals m. Actually, I know what m is. M is 5. So equals 5 parentheses x minus negative 3. Well, we can't really have minus negatives. That really means plus positive. So our final answer is y plus 9 equals 5 parentheses x plus 3. Find the x and y intercept. Well, to find the x-intercept, we really just cover up the y, and we're left with negative 8x equals 56. We divide by negative 8, and we get x to equal negative 7. That's where that line will cross the x-axis. Then, to find the y-intercept, we cover up the x, and we're left with 4y equals 56. Divide by 4, and y equals 14. So it crosses the y-axis at 14. And number 20. Okay, so all of these are on the same level. You don't really have an outside exponent outside of parentheses, so they're all on the same level, and we multiply negative 8 times 5 times 4. And when we do that, we get a negative 160. Then, since all of your variables are on the same level, you keep your base of a k, and you add your exponent. You get 7. And then you just have this j to the second left over. 21, you have an inside and an outside, so you multiply. M to the negative 10th is what you get, but you can't have a negative exponent, so it moves to the denominator, and you have to have a 1 on top.